quick honing refresh on a razor that I'll be using tomorrow morning. Not going to be doing a shave video tomorrow morning, but that's okay. So the razor we're going to be honing is a Swedish steel Klas Tornblom, and I know the lighting's bad, so it is a Klas Tornblom. It is about 4/8, possibly 9/16. So we're going to be taking care of that. It does need a little bit of refresh. Last time I shaved with it, it was a little rough. So we're going to go through and take it to the Shobudani JNAT. And on that, we're going to be taking the Tomo Slurry and building up a nice thick slurry, and going from a Tomo Slurry all the way down to water only. We'll be diluting the Tomo Slurry and then going down to water only, and progressively just getting lighter. We'll probably end up doing about anywhere between 80 to 160 laps, just depending on how the razor feels. So let me finish getting set up, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we've already wet the rock down, so let's go ahead and just start building our slurry with our Tomo. I'm not pushing all that hard. I'm just letting the water absorb into the rocks. I'm just doing a little rubbing. Eventually the slurry will start building. If you push too hard, well, you can push harder if you'd like. I tend not to. Especially with some of the coarser Niguras, they're a bit more brittle. And if you do start pushing hard with those, you can start breaking flakes off, and that'll mess with your slurry. So again, this should be a pretty quick video. Probably not going to be talking too terribly much in the middle of the honing, so I'll probably speed it up. We'll see how it goes in post-production. The one thing I will say before I get started, I do not have the best technique when it comes to honing. And it's not a technique that I recommend beginners to try, or anybody for that matter. However, because normally when you hone, the ideal way to hone is to flip over the spine and then push edge forward down the stone. However, I do not flip over the spine. I lift the razor and flip over the edge. That being said, I get good results from my edges that I'm very happy with. And I have tried to correct this technique flaw and have ruined more edges trying to change my technique than doing it the way I'm doing it now. So I said, you know what? I'm getting good edges. Let's just leave well enough alone. Right? It's not necessarily that it's not broke, but the likelihood of me messing up a razor doing that is a lot lower than me trying to change technique than I will. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with repeating 20s of circles. I go clockwise, counterclockwise, so clockwise coming towards me, counterclockwise moving away from me. I'll probably do that 2, maybe 3 times, both directions, and then I'll go into rolling X strokes. So here we go. Medium pressure. And if that was 20, I'm not sure. I tend to lose exact count, so I'm just trying to do approximately this same amount. So I'm already feeling pretty smooth here. Like I said, I am applying a little bit of pressure, so it's not going to stick just yet. So all we're doing at this point, the bevel on this razor is pretty good. So all we're doing at this point is just reinforcing the bevel, clearing up any rough edges. We'll go one more. Normally for something like, there we go, I'm getting the audible here. Normally with something like Solingen steel or Sheffield steel or American steel, I wouldn't do this 3 times. I'd probably do it just once. So we're going to go into rolling X strokes here. And I tend to use rolling X strokes for just about all of my razors. And the reason I do that is because I do have some razors with smiles on them, and I don't hone frequently enough to have 3 or 4 different honing strokes. The best way to hone? No. Then again, I'm flipping over the edge, so who am I to say what is the best way to hone? And if you notice, the one thing I do when I flip over the edge is I make sure I land. When I do put the razor back down again, I always land spine first. Just moving the razor around the stone right now so I catch both the heel and the toe. I do some straight up and downs. Occasionally I do some toe leading, but those are a little awkward. Let's go back to some rolling X strokes and decrease a little bit of the pressure here. So medium light pressure now. I have no idea how many strokes I'm at right now. That's okay. I mainly hone by feel anyway. Right now I'm not getting enough feedback off of the toe. When I start getting some feedback off the toe that I'm looking for, then I'll rinse the blade off, give the bevel a quick check. Dilute the slurry down. Okay, that felt good. Okay, so what we're going to do real quick is we're going to spray the blade off. So I spray the blade, get the primary amount of slurry on, plus all that water drips down to the rock, and dilutes my slurry for me. Wipe the blade off real quick. I'll break out my loop, and we'll check the bevel real quick. Make sure that we're getting a nice even haze on the blade. Now, for those of you who haven't used JNATs before, they don't polish per se the edge of the blade, and my loop is acting fluky. Here we go. That's much better. There we go. So they don't polish the blade per se, but they leave a haze. I can't remember the name of the word they give it, but it's rather unique. Whereas you have conical edge or a synthetic edge, and they leave that bevel really shiny and pretty looking. All right, missing a little bit on the toe right there, so we'll go back. We'll work a little bit on the toe. JNATs are a little bit different. JNATs leave a nice hazy finish to the bevel. If you've never seen it, it's really cool. JNAT edges can range anywhere from silky smooth like a conical edge all the way up to cutting time sharp like the sharpest synthetic edge. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the toe a little bit with the diluted slurry. And we're just gonna, just a little bit, medium pressure. We're slightly lifting the heel just to make sure that we hit the toe. The rest of the bevel looks wonderful. So we're just gonna do some circles, and then we're just gonna do some down and back. So we're just going to start decreasing pressure. Yeah, that's starting to give me some good resistance, which is what I'm looking for in the toe. Alright, I'm going to start doing some hook strokes. Alright, let's hit the rest of the blade here with the diluted slurry. And we're going at a light, medium, light pressure at this point. What do we have for time here? About 9 minutes. Doing good here. So the way this blade feels, it's not going to take very long on water. Starting to get some good feedback. Sorry guys, it's this is a very zen thing, honing with JNATs. And when you start getting that feedback, it's just so gratifying to know that the stone is just slowly, ever so slowly, just polishing that edge to just a very fine edge. Oops. That was a mistake stroke right there. Let's go to some light laps here. See what kind of feedback I'm getting. These are just some flat hook strokes. I've gone away from the rolling X. Oh yeah, that feels good. It's sticky. Can't wait to just get this on just water. Okay, let's wipe this off real quick. Alright. Not going to bother checking the bevel. The bevel feels really, really good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spray the rock off. Again, I'm not doing this in a place where I have running water, so I use the pressure from the spray bottle and just let it drip off, and then I'll take my finger and just kind of squeegee the water off, try and get as much of that old slurry off. And I've got a microfiber towel over here to the side that I'll go and I'll wipe the backing off, but try not to wipe per se, because it does still leave some microfibers, which I don't want. Okay, that's a semi-dry, so we're going to go ahead, don't want to get the camera wet, re-wet it, and we're ready to go for our water-only laps. Now I'm going to do circles, but this is weight of the blade, guys. I know I said I might speed this up, but I got a lot to say. So again, weight of the blade. Alright. So I'm actually going to count strokes here. I'm going to go until I hit 40. Like I was saying earlier, I normally wouldn't do this many strokes or this many circles on Solingen or Sheffield steel. You can already see the feedback I'm getting. This thing is starting to stick already. But Swedish steel is just so incredibly hard. It just takes a little bit longer and a little bit more patience to get the keenness on the blade that you would. You just need to be patient with it. Okay. Get a little bit of the toe. Oh yeah, that's really starting to stick. Sorry if that sounds dirty. Not intentional, I promise. Again, this is very, very minimal pressure, just enough to keep the blade flat on the rock. That's about 30. Lost count talking to you guys. That's all right. You just get lost in the honing. Again, this is pretty zen. So for conicals and arcs and stuff like that, you use honing solutions, glycerin, any kind of solution. For JNATs, you generally don't want to do that. The porous nature of a JNAT, those solutions such as glycerin or soap or anything like that will get into the rock and it'll start to break the rock down. It'll cause inclusions to become more bothersome to the point where they actually affect the honing nature of the stone. So I would recommend against doing that. That being said, I have used glycerin in this to some effect, but if you want to do something like that, I would do your honing in the bathroom and just do handheld laps under running water, just a very light stream. What I'm going to do in lieu of that, all right, so I'm just going to basically do some stropping strokes. And I'm just doing an X stroke pattern to catch all the blade. Again, next to no pressure, just enough to keep the blade flat. And that's done. So what I do at this point is I go ahead and I strop it, and then I'll give it a hanging hair test. But other than that, that's a refresh. Took a total of about 15-16 minutes, 20 minutes if you count the setup. So guys, I hope you got a lot out of this video. Like I said, just showing you a little bit of my routine when I go to do a refresh on a razor. I do have another couple razors that need to refresh over the next week or so. Actually, Friday's razor needs to be refreshed as well. That's one that almost stabbed me in the foot. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. That's the Jernboll agate. Another Swedish blade. So that's going to take a little bit too. So normal refreshers take me about 10 minutes because the steel is a lot softer. This just happened to be Swedish steel, so it took a bit longer. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Let me just tilt the camera up here. Don't mind the hand. Or don't mind the light that's above me here. So, hope you enjoyed it. All right, I'll catch you on the next video. We'll be doing another soap review here coming in shortly. I've got quite a few mail calls coming in. Some of them I'm really excited about. But until then, if you haven't found us at The Shaving Cadre, come check us out at www.theshavingcadre.com. We got a lot of discussions, other videos, member videos. We actually, one of the few forums that have a dedicated section of the forum completely devoted to member videos. It's a member-driven review section, video logs, vlogs if you want to call them that. So come check us out at theshavingcadre.com. We'd love to see you there. All right, take care, guys. Bye.